For today's cup of coffee, I did not take my Stratera, and it has been one of those days. And I hate winter. If I've never told you all, I hate winter. And the reason I hate winter so much is because I do have fibromyalgia / chronic fatigue syndrome / whatever ME is. It's some kind of inflammation of your brain. It's exacerbated by seasonal affective disorder, which is called SAD. And
oh no, big sad. It's big sad.
And so actually I have done better this year than in many years past, because they did find a medication. It's called Mobic, which is in the acetaminophen. No, it was in the ibuprofen family is what it was. Acetaminophen is Tylenol and stuff. But I have had life circumstances that would absolutely cause a priest to just cuss. Seriously.
Just a priest to cuss.
And so it's just like, I think everybody, it's not just me, it's circumstances in the world right now. And we were discussing.
Everybody's a little bit insane.
Yeah. And some of us are just seriously about to fall off the edge.
Y'all are dropping.
Well, anyhow, and we were talking about just the level of darkness. It's not just seasonal on that, but it is spiritual.
Yeah.
Everybody is experiencing this right now. And everybody is talking about that Tim Pool was swatted during his live stream. And
which, by the by, if you did not know, that is illegal. That is
massively.
That is a big.
That's a federal charge.
That is a federal charge.
And that Officer Tatum was there during this. So yes, let's do this. That was whoever was an idiot enough to do that while Sergeant Tatum was on there. Yeah. And so that's a very, very dangerous situation. And then I was listening to another YouTuber that is, let's see, I was trying to think of what his name is. It's any other time I would know it was. It's Anthony Brian Logan, I think is what it is. Mm-hmm. And I really enjoy him. I think he's in Northern Virginia. And, right. I will put, if I remember, I will put a link to his channel. He's very much worthy of listening to. And he was, he was telling about how he had been swatted at some point.
A lot of people have gotten swatted.
And that is insane.
Yeah.
That's not funny. That's dangerous.
Yeah.
It's dangerous for officers. It's definitely dangerous for the people that have a SWAT team show up at their business or house or whatever. Mm. I mean, I have counseled kids that have had police raid the home or dwelling where they were, and the after effects, they never get over that.
No.
And so, the way that they were saying it, I actually had started a thread that has become kind of interesting. Mm-hmm. And because I am Gen X, and I'm like, back in the day, a prank call was such as calling a store and, or calling a home and asking them if the refrigerator was running.
Go catch it.
And then the response, yes, go catch it. And so other people are adding to, because that reminds us of a simpler time. Mm-hmm.
It was a fun, innocent
Sure,
time.
It was just a fun, innocent time. And I will have to add my favorite prank call thing to the thread on that, which was to call a grocery and ask them, do you have pig's feet? Now, for those of you in Europe, that may be, what the hell is that?
Oh, God.
But for people who are Southern,
oh, God.
Now that is one of the things, no, I ain't going to eat that. Oh. But they do. They make pickled pig's feet. And there are people that enjoy that. And that's okay. Let them do them.
Oh, God.
But you would if you called the grocery, and if they said yes, then you could say, wear boots. No one will know.
Oh.
Yeah. And, of course, the old Prince Albert in a can. So, how have changed, and not for the better. No. But in order to combat the darkness, we're going to do lighter subjects today or this weekend.
Good.
Yeah. Before we get into the real, that has messed with me along with everything else. This
it's messed with you. It's messed with you. How dare?
Kid had brought forth the other day about the usage of the term allegedly. And the house.
Oh, so you fact checked me on this?
No, I did go to the dictionary.
Okay.
And this, I think, was from HarperCollins. It's the Collins English Dictionary, complete and unabridged, 12th edition, 2014.
You full on took our dictionary.
I went
typed this shit.
Nerd mode activated. Yeah. So, as an adjective, allegedly means reportedly, supposedly. It can be used as a sentence modifier. It is alleged that. And then it can be an interjection as an exclamation expressing disbelief or skepticism. Now, it goes on. It says, usage. In recent terms, it has become common for speakers to include allegedly in statements that are controversial or possibly even defamatory. The implication is that by saying allegedly, the speaker is distancing himself or herself from the controversy and even protecting himself or herself. See, this is cumbersome. One's self from possible prosecution. However, the effect created may be deliberate. The use of allegedly can be a signal that, although the statement may seem outrageous, it is in fact true, such as he was drunk at work, allegedly. Conversely, it is also possible to use allegedly as an expression of ironic skepticism, such as, he's a hard worker, allegedly. Yeah, it used to be called freedom of speech. There is no, sarcasm font. Somebody needs to develop. I've been begging someone to develop a sarcasm font for years.
I think it would just be sort of slanted and stretched just a bit.
Maybe. I don't know, but it needs to be. Then from the thesaurus, and this is HarperCollins, you can use the following adverbs: supposedly, apparently, reportedly, by all accounts, reputedly, and purportedly. So there you go. Allegedly, it is a proper word. I was one of those kids that I would read the dictionary for fun, for real.
I said it's not. We knew it was a proper word. It's just that YouTube banned that one.
I haven't heard them banning anybody else.
No, it's like they flagged that word down in their
But maybe it was how they were using
thing.
The word.
Yeah, but still.
Now if you there's as far as slander, there are laws against that. If it's written, that is liable. There's libel. There's laws against that. You can't make these outrageous claims about people without some kind of proof. So, and they're saying that you can use the term allegedly in sort of a skeptical thing. If somebody is falling down drunk in an office, and that's what they were saying, he was drunk allegedly because they didn't have the toxicology report at that moment.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah.
Okay.
This leads us into today's story. Article, discussion, podcast thing. And I will tell you that our dictionary that we have there is a 1955 version, and I love it. It's just an amazing thing.
It's good.
Books. I love books. I truly do.
I would love to figure out how to preserve older books to have them last longer.
It is, and that is a difficult thing because that even on that one, the glue that was used, after a certain point, it crystallizes in some of the pages. There are ways to restore books. You know, you were talking about people that restore the older dolls and stuff. Mm-hmm. There are people that can do that with books, which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
And, you know, older books are something that... Now, people throw them away. Why would you do that?
I don't know.
That's a horrible thing. What a waste.
Yeah.
So, anyhow. And there are some people that are taking pages from older books and then printing, you know, on top of them. That's like the octopus woman that I had gotten you, and had gotten you a plague doctor that was printed on an old textbook. And that's a way to preserve that. That's really cool.
Yeah.
As artistic.
Yes, and I like them a lot.
I appreciate them. And this comes from Grammarphobia, which was a site that I was totally unfamiliar with. This is from June 8th, 2018, by Patricia T. O'Connor and Stewart Kellerman. And this is Birth of the Conspiracy Theory.
Okay.
Because there's a lot of theories that the term conspiracy theory was developed by the CIA. Mm-hmm. Now we're going to find out the truth. And somebody had sent in the question, I read with interest your post about false flag and crisis actor, but you use the term conspiracy theory without explaining its origin. I've read online that it was invented by the CIA after the assassination of JFK to discredit people who thought the shooter didn't act alone. Now, they answered, the CIA did not invent the phrase conspiracy theory. It's been in circulation since at least as far back as 1868, almost 100 years before President Kennedy was assassinated, and nearly 80 years before the CIA existed. Of course, there have been conspiracy theories since ancient times, alternative views of history that interpret events as the products of secret conspiracies designed to conceal the truth. Et tu, Brute.
Okay.
One of the best known is the hypothesis that the Emperor Nero, for one reason or another, secretly orchestrated the Great Fire of Rome in 64 AD. I had heard that one, and that thing about him playing the fiddle while Rome burned.
Yeah.
It says modern scholars think the fire probably started by accident. But while conspiracies, both real and imagined, have always been a part of human history, it wasn't until the 19th century that the phrase conspiracy theory was recorded in writing. Before we get to the early examples of the expression, though, let's look at its definition. A conspiracy theory, according to the Oxford English Dictionary, which they will refer to as the OED, is the theory that an event or phenomenon occurs as a result of a conspiracy between interested parties. More specifically, the dictionary adds that it is a belief that some covert but influential agency, typically political in motivation and oppressive in intent, is responsible for an unexplained event. The definitions in standard dictionaries are similar, though shorter, like this one. A theory that explains an event or set of circumstances as the result of a secret plot by usually powerful conspirators. And that's from Merriam-Webster Unabridged. Okay. It's interesting that the two earliest examples of conspiracy theory that we found are from the same year, but in different countries, the U.S. and England. The first is from a news story in the Boston Post on April 16, 1868. Quote, the testimony of General Sherman has blown the conspiracy theory of General Butler to the winds. And of course, it was in a sure anticipation of such a result that he so steadily and brazenly objected to nearly every question put by the counsel for the defense, which was calculated to bring it out, end quote. And this was testimony that was given in the Senate's impeachment trial of President Andrew Johnson. So even with this, to where it's talking that the pen is mightier than the sword. Mm-hmm. People can use and twist words in remarkable ways.
Yeah.
It says later that same year, a British periodical printed the phrase in an article about a visit by Prime Minister Benjamin Disraeli to Queen Victoria at Balmoral Castle in Scotland. End quote. She may seem to award her present premier a degree of favor which, considering how direct and plain her dealings have ever been, appears to denote her sympathy with his policy. But she surely comprehends that his conspiracy theory is a mere party battle horse for which she need not find stable room. End quote. Again, people twisting what's being said. Humans are interesting.
Very.
And it says in the 1870s and afterward, examples of conspiracy theory became much more common. Because people will hear something. It's like any kind of phrase. People will jump on the bandwagon. They'll add that to their vocabulary. Phrases come in and out of vogue just like fashions or anything else. Uh-huh. So, in April of 1870, for example, another British periodical, the Journal of Mental Science, used the term in replying to allegations that mental patients were being severely beaten by keepers in insane asylums. The journal advanced another hypothesis to account for the patient's injuries and called the allegations of beatings a conspiracy theory.
What?
Yes, because we know the abuses in these mental asylums. And so to try to cover their ass, that's what these people that are wrongdoers use a lot of times, the term conspiracy theory. Mm-hmm. Yes. And it says many sightings of conspiracy theory in the 1870s, 80s, and 90s are from the news stories about crimes and courtroom proceedings. In such articles, it is usually meant a hypothesis that an act was committed by more than one person. This quotation, for example, is from a San Francisco newspaper's account of a murder trial in which charges against a family of 4 were dismissed. Quote, "The conspiracy theory was too intricate. He, the judge, was certain Blanche was not in on it, and how she could be left out, he could not understand." End quote. And in a report about a far more sensational case, Henry Ward Beecher's trial for adultery, this headline appeared: "How Bessie Turner's testimony upsets the conspiracy theory." A lot of times conspiracy theory, like I said, is used to totally discount and discredit what somebody is saying.
Right.
The first use of conspiracy theory in reference to a presidential assassination was in connection with the shooting of James A. Garfield by Charles Guiteau on July the 2nd, 1881. Garfield did die several weeks later. This small headline appeared within one news report: "President Garfield and his cabinet reject conspiracy theory." The fact that New York police detectives had been called to Washington, the newspaper said, quote, "started the sensational report that there had been a conspiracy to murder the president," end quote. I don't know that, I mean, apart from Hinckley shooting Reagan that time, and that he was lone gunman on that, there's any time that there has been an assassination and or an attempt at assassination, there's usually, you have to look into, was this person a sole person and just deranged, which Hinckley very much was, or was it a plot?
Yeah.
Again, with Julius Caesar, there was a plot. It's not new. Now, the hypothesis soon disappeared that the assassin did not act alone was also labeled the conspiracy theory in a headline on a different story published the same day in the Indianapolis Star. Predictably, the expression got a good workout 20 years later with another president was assassinated. By September the 8th, 1901, 2 days after President William McKinley was shot by the anarchist Leon Chulgas. I had to really check that pronunciation. conspiracy theory began popping up in the news. The theory here that the shooting was an anarchist plot was never proven, but it had some credibility since Chulgas admitted that he had been inspired by the writings of other anarchists. For example, the headline "Conspiracy Theory Confirmed" appeared above a report that an Italian had been standing in front of Chulgas until just before he fired the shots. And that was from a bulletin wired from London, September the 8th, and published the next day in Australia. Citations in the OED haven't yet caught up with these earlier sightings of conspiracy theory. The dictionary's first example is from 1909. Quote, "The claim that Addison's was an originator of the repeal may be termed a recrudescence." Recrudescence? What the hell is that? Of the conspiracy theory first asserted by Colonel John A. Parker of Virginia in 1880. I should have looked up what recrudescence was.
Recrutons.
It sounds like it.
Recrutons?
Published appearances of conspiracy theory continued right through the 20th century with a spurt of activity after the JFK assassination and on into our time. Along the way, a parallel term developed, conspiracy theorist, a noun phrase that is included in the OED and in standard dictionaries. Most don't define it, however. An exception is in the Cambridge Dictionary Online, which is someone who believes in a conspiracy theory. Well, that's pretty, but again, dictionaries are pretty much binary code.
Very.
They have to be.
Just black and white.
They have to be. We haven't found any examples of conspiracy theorists that predate the first citation given in the OED. It's from the May 1st, 1964 issue of New Statesman. Quote, "Conspiracy theorists will be disappointed by the absence of a dogmatic introduction," end quote. And that was the comment about a literary magazine's transition to a broader coverage of the arts. Over the years, these terms have taken on a darker meaning. Today, the conspiracy goes beyond the notion of someone's acting with accomplices instead of alone. It also implies the involvement of entire governments or vast interests, not mere individuals. Many of the OED citations reflect this broader use of conspiracy theory, like this one from the early 1950s. Quote, "I call it the conspiracy theory of society. It is the view that an explanation of a social phenomenon consists in the discovery of the men or groups who are interested in the occurrence of this phenomenon," end quote. And that was from Karl Popper's The Open Society and Its Enemies. And also, we found this early example from the 1970s of a wider meaning of conspiracy theorist. Quote, "An invisible super government consisting of organized crime, intelligence fronts, and war industry controls America. Conspiracy theorist Rusty Rhodes told an audience of 250 last night in Cublery Auditorium," end quote. Well, the fact that we had a president that discussed the military-industrial complex quite a few years ago, I think that was probably in the 50s. Mm-hmm. That's recorded, so that is fact. Rhodes, according to the article, went on to say that this super government committed such wildly diverse acts as the assassination of President John Kennedy and the kidnapping of Patty Hearst, end quote. In short, the CIA did not invent the phrase conspiracy theory, and we found no evidence that the agency tried to popularize it to make critics of the Warren Commission report look foolish. But now, we know as far as the poison pen, anytime you see as far as somebody accusing someone of being a conspiracy theorist or of whatever part of an investigation as being a conspiracy theory in today's world, look into the agenda of the writer. Yeah, you can screw yourself into the ground really quickly in today's world.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very.
So, all we know is the CIA didn't invent it.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean they haven't used it and don't use it. And like I said, lots of other people, they use that to discredit people.
They do.
But I thought that it was interesting that that was one of the few things that one of the alphabet peoples can't be responsible for. God knows there's lots of others.
Yeah.
Allegedly.
Allegedly.
So,
oh God.
If you've
pushing the YouTube bots to their limit on our channel.
No, it was a proper usage. What are they going to do? Are the bots going to go and maybe the bots need to read the dictionary?
I don't know. Sometimes they can flag a video for no reason.
Well, that's all right because BitChute.
Yeah, thank you, BitChute. Y'all really let loose.
And I really may need to give Odyssey another try on that since I don't have a problem with the compression of the videos now. VLC is now my friend. So, yeah. But if you've got experiences with paranoid. The paranoid, oh God. Freudian slip. You've got experiences with supernatural, paranormal, encounters with UFOs, aliens, cryptids, conspiracy theories, actual theories,
paranoid lunatics,
old books that you love just as much as we love ours, local, regional, family, myths, legends. Send us an email, cupofcoffeewithscream@gmail.com. I know that you are appreciated, loved, respected. And I will say that yesterday's cup of coffee or the previous cup of coffee, I had just a shit show from the beginning of that. I had an edit where I had to cough after I had gone through and had, like I said, edited everything, had the video finished, had actually uploaded it to YouTube, and I was like, oh God, I didn't edit out the cough. Had to go back, edit out the cough. Didn't think about that. Then that screwed up as far as the musical outro on it. Went ahead, uploaded it, then realized this morning, I'm like, that title is not good because it was Mount Hermon, and I didn't go back. I didn't explain it fully. So then I went back and went, okay, it's Mount Hermon, scenic, route because of dude's meanderings, the way that it was written. And it's like had included site where Lucifer fell. And then I went back and I'm like, oh God, I spelled it SIGHT instead of SITE. Yeah.
Oh no.
So at a certain point, I was just, dear God, help me, I have prayed lots again over the past several weeks, days.
R.I.P.
So, but it could have just been a conspiracy theory that all that happened.
Allegedly.
You all have a beautiful, blessed day, and we will see you on the next cup.
Don't forget to like, share, and most of all, comment, subscribe, and click that little notification button, damn it. Whatever it is, it's a YouTube bell or if it's a damn Oreo, click it.
Bye.
Bye.